Subscribe to the Celtic Forever podcast on YouTube. Thank you.
The Celtic Forever podcast.
Hello again, folks. Warren, welcome to the Celtic Forever podcast. I'm Xander. We've got John here to go through everything Celtic. The game last night against Kairat Almaty. The Livingston game coming up as well. Wee bits of news, comments at the end. We'll go through everything, folks. Let's say hello to John. How are you, John, after a nothing each draw with Kairat Almaty last night? How you feeling, buddy? What was your thoughts on the game?
I'm all right, aye. It's just frustrations. If I was to put one word on it, just frustration. If I was to put two words on it, frustration and rotten. Yeah,
a lot of unhappy Celtic supporters all over the place on all these comments and videos, John. Comment sections and videos. Celtic supporters are not happy at all. Even the fans last night in the stadium, wanting the board sacked. We didn't think we'd hear that again at Celtic Park, did we?
Look, I can understand the fans singing sack the board. Anybody would understand that. I mean, they've not spent anything in the summer. They brought in, as far as I can tell, one decent player. But aye, they're quite right to voice their opinion. The only problem I've got with that is it probably affected the players on the parts under. I mean, that doesn't just go over the top of their head. They can feel the frustration, they can feel the anger, and no doubt that has an impact on the team.
Yeah, of course it does, John. And it's one of the games last night. As soon as it started, you knew it was going to be one of those nights. The start, when the Champions League music was going up, was one of the best I've heard at Celtic Park. It was brilliant. I was thought to myself, excuse me, this is going to be a great night. And then as soon as the game kicked off, John, it was, we saw it for our own eyes, didn't we, what happened? Just a quick mention of the competitions. Before we go any further, John, let's get that out the road just now. The league table, I think you got the Falkirk game right, John, with Peter Hendry. So that's 3 points for each of you. Peter joins you and Roseanne and Mad About Football and Collins, I think it's the other one, John. That's the 5 at the top of the league. So everybody else has got a bit of catching up to do, including myself. So the top 5, that's you there at the top of the league. Top 5, only 3 games played, John. So joint top 5, you're in there, John, already.
I'll win it. I'll tell you right now, I'm winning it. Even though I can't win the prizes, I'm definitely winning it. I mean, what about my score predictor for the weekend? How many did I get right? 4 or 5 or something?
3, I think.
Oh, no, it was more than 3.
Right, just want to remind people, hit that subscribe button as well, folks. If you don't mind, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button as well. That would be appreciated. As I say, we're going to predictor for this weekend a wee bit later on. But let's get into the serious stuff, John, because...
Yeah. Well, before we do, how many did you get right?
1, I think, John.
There you go, then. It wasn't the Celtic game, was it? It was, I can't remember, but I know you got 1 right. I was just gloating a wee bit there.
Yeah, I think it was the Motherwell game I got right. Anyway, John, into the serious stuff. We were all having a wee laugh and a joke and a giggle at Rangers getting beat by Club Brugge on Tuesday night. And then we sit down to watch the game on Wednesday night. We put in that sort of a lacklustre performance, John, pass to the left, pass to the right, pass back the way. The fans were getting frustrated very early in this one.
Look, it was the exact same tactics for 90 minutes, exactly the same. I think when Yang came on, he posed a wee bit more of a threat, a bit more direct. Then he tried to do these stupid skills and lost the ball. I don't know how many times he'd done that. I don't know how many times Celtic players just kicked the ball right out of the park. There was no way to pass there. The way to pass was absolutely brutal. When you're playing like that, even for just the first 45 minutes and nothing's happening, you've got to change things in the second half. Get another forward in there. and chip some long balls into the box and test our defence. Not once did Celtic do that the whole night. Not once.
Yeah, it was a pretty poor showing, wasn't it? But I think Kairat or Matty surprised everybody a wee bit, John. The way they came at us early doors in this one, I was quite impressed by them, actually. I thought they played some really nice stuff. You know, the wee boy, 17-year-old boy that plays for them, John, that's gone to Chelsea, Sat Piu. What a player he was, John. And he got booked later on in this one, which means he misses the return leg over in Kazakhstan, John. If we're going to take anything out of that game on Wednesday night, it'll be that, John. That's a bonus that he's missing the return leg.
Aye, well, that's the only thing. Positive. It's no positive for the boy that get booked and misses the game, but for Celtic it's positive because he was their best player, and he's missing the next game. Like, Celtic need a lot more than just a 17-year-old boy missing. Celtic should be good Celtic Park onto that turf and wiping the floor with that team. Look, we're not trying to sound entitled here, but you look at the budgets between the two teams. Celtic should be wiping the floor with that money they've spent in that team. But, like, fair play to Kyra. I thought they were an exceptional wee team. Very, very tough to break down. But at the end of the day, they weren't tested.
No, 2 shots on target, John, the entire game. It's not what you expect of Celtic at Paradise, John, especially with that massive crowd behind us. It just isn't what any of us were expecting, to be honest with you. But that's exactly what happened. 2 shots, and the main one was Dyson through at the very end, John, and he scuffs his shot. That's about the size of it. And to Dyson's chance at the very end, he should have done better, Dyson, but you can't blame him, I suppose. Very end of the game, the legs are tired, especially in that heat on Wednesday night. But he should have buried it, John, let's be honest. He's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper and it just passes it more or less right into the goalkeeper's arms.
Aye. Look, it's Dyson, we're not going to get on the boys' back. The whole team were garbage all night. I mean, I'm sick of looking at this backwards and sideways passing out constantly. All that's doing's killing the time for Kairat Almaty. That's all that's doing. It's just wasting time for them. They know exactly how Celtic are going to play. Every team knows exactly how Celtic are going to play. They play the same way every single game. Unfortunately for us this season, we've got results out of that. But when you're playing in the Champions League, the teams get a bit better. And I thought Kairat Almaty, I thought they were a cracking team, by the way. But like I says, they weren't tested at all. Like, I think we had 2 shots on target all night. That's just no like Celtic.
No, it is not, John. And, it's done now. Until the game is done, we do have a second chance at this, John. We do have the return leg over in Kazakhstan next Tuesday night. But we're going to break it down a wee bit, John, into individual performance. We always do this, individual performances, and we'll give them a score as well, John. So let's break it down. And we'll start with the goalkeeper. Didn't have much to do, but the ball was in the back of the net early on in this one. It was disallowed for offsides. Very close to that one, John. We got out of jail with that, I think. I think the boys, toe or whatever, John, was slightly offside. But if you're offside, you're offside. We definitely got out of jail with that one, John. That should have been 1-0 to them, but for a bit of luck for us.
Aye, I think it was like his ankle that was offside or something. Not even his whole foot. That's how much was in it. Well done to the linesman spotting that, by the way.
Yeah.
Aye, I'm very lucky there. But like you say, if it's offside, it's offside. But it could have been so different if it was wasn't it for 100th of a second earlier,
Exactly, John. We were very lucky, and we'll take it. We'll take the luck just now. I heard a lot of people saying that, the amount of game time that Kairat's played, they've played like 6 qualifiers already, John, and they've also played league games. So they're way ahead of schedule, further ahead than Celtic in schedule, John. Celtic have only played 2 or 3 competitive games, while they've played, a lot more. So do you think that's anything to do with it?
I don't think so. I mean, we've played 3 competitive games, 2 in the league, 1 in the cup. We've had all our pre-season friendlies, of course. Look, you can see the players, they're not fully up to speed, but they should be by now. They're professionals. They're extremely fit guys. They can play for 90 minutes. So I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm not saying you are, but I'm sure there might be some people using that as an excuse. What about you?
No, I'm not definitely not using that as an excuse, John. I've seen Celtic turn up at these big games before and no turn up. We've seen it a few times. We saw it in the cup final, just a couple of months ago. Can't take these teams for granted, John. We've got to turn up at every single game we play in and be professional, and have the same attitude in every single game we play, John. And sometimes we don't have that professional attitude, and I think that was the case last night. I think we thought we could go to Celtic Park, turn up in front of the massive crowd under the lights, etc., John, and do the job. But that wasn't the case, and you can't really expect that in every single game, John. We've got to turn up with a professional attitude and play the game, not play the occasion, if you like, John. I think we sort of played the occasion, caught under the lights, if you like, John. Maybe, I don't know, John. There was something not quite right last night, and I noticed it right away as soon as the game kicked off. The way they came at us right away, John. It just wasn't Celtic that I was watching last night.
I don't think Celtic were expecting them to come at them like that, and they did. They closed the defenders down. Celtic don't like that, attackers closing them down. They kind of tried to play the game in Celtic's half early on. Maybe that spooked him a wee bit, and Celtic realised these guys are a danger. We better be a bit more cautious, and we've seen that caution throughout the game when they're attacking, and it ends up going all the way back to the keeper again, and it was frustrating the whole night.
Yeah, it was poor showing from the boys, and I keep saying it when we do have a poor showing that the players are allowed an off game. It's allowed, but you can't have an off game in such a massive fixture like this, John. This is a £40 million double fixture, if you like, John. The home and the away leg. This is a £40 million tie, so we can't afford to show up lacklustre like that, John, and I'm sure the boys will sort it out for next Tuesday. The other one I wanted to have a wee quick word on was the penalty claim. The penalty that wasn't given, if you like, the chance, the sort of a studs in the ankle of Nygren went it inside the penalty box, John. Didn't even go to VAR. I thought that was a stone waller. What did you think?
I was angry at that. I thought it was a penalty. It was definitely a penalty. Look, you can't go crippling players like that and just walk away from it. The guy's not even touched the ball or anything. He's just wiped Nygren out. Studs right across his leg. And if that's not a penalty, then should just actually give up giving penalties to teams, because that's practically getting away with murder, that.
Yeah, we could have got a really bad injury out of that one, because he was lucky he walked away for that one, to be honest with you, and it didn't even get looked at by VAR, but it's gone, as we say, John, it's gone. And another wee incident I noticed, if you remember last season, Rio got sent off for a wee flick out, John. He got sent off, can't remember who it was against, but he did get sent off for a wee flick out, and he done the same thing last night. I don't know if you've seen it or not. It was just a wee tangle, and they had another wee flick out. But he got away with this time, John. He didn't get the red card, but it was the exact same incident as last season when he got sent off. Rio needs to cut that out of his game.
Just frustration with Rio. I think it'd be a bit of frustration. And look, I don't think the officials were great last night, by the way. Now we're talking about things like that. I thought the Dutch officials were pretty poor last night, to be honest with you. They were giving them free kicks for just falling over and stuff. It was ridiculous as well. They were a bigger frustration in the game.
Yeah, I know, especially the penalty, John. That was the one that, you get that penalty, you score that penalty, you go in and win that game 2 or 3-0. So, yeah, that was frustrating, because any other team in the Champions League would have got that. That's how you can't give that as a penalty. I don't get it. I don't understand it. The VAR is there for a reason. It's there to look at decisions inside the penalty box, and this one was brushed aside. So, the cameras showed 4 or 5 replays of it, John. So why did VAR not check it?
Don't know, but it should have been checked. Nygren stayed down in the box long enough to have VAR actually think, why is this guy lying down? Let's have a look at that and see what's happened to him. And obviously they've seen it. They've obviously done that. They've obviously seen that and says, nah, that's not a penalty. He's only tried to break his leg. Just go on with it. Yeah,
it was poor officiating. You're right, John. Okay, that's it then, John. As I did say, we're going to break it down, and we'll quickly do this, right? But I just want to have a wee breakdown. We went through Casper's performance there. What was your score for Casper, John?
He kept a clean sheet. I know he let that one in that went into the net that was cancelled out for offside, but look, he kept a clean sheet, so we'll give him a 7, as always, if it's a clean sheet.
Yeah, okay, fair dues. Casper 7, Schmeichel. Okay.
Nice.
And Alistair went off injured, didn't he? That's a massive concern for us.
How about you giving him?
Yeah, 7 for me as well, John. Maybe 6, I don't know. He never done anything at all, did he? Apart from pick the ball out of the net. So 6, 7, John. I'll give him a 7. To be fair,
Clean sheet's a 7, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll give him a 7 to be fair. Yeah, okay. Alistair, John, he went off injured. That was like a bad injury for him. Looks as though he's going to be out for maybe a wee spell here, maybe 4 weeks possibly, John, maybe even longer. Hopefully it's shorter. We don't know yet. We've not heard the extent of the injury. Went off in the stretcher, John, but up until that point he was playing okay. But we missed him when he went off, John. So what are you giving Alistair? It's hard to give a score for a player that went off injured in the first half.
Aye, it's hard to... He was playing well before he came off, and I don't think Anthony Ralston's an able replacement for Alistair Johnston. I really don't. Anthony, I'm not saying anything bad about Anthony. He's a good wee player. He gives his all. He's got the heart of a lion, but he's just not quite get the quality that Alistair Johnston's got. He's not got the pace. He's not got the crossing ability. But anyway, get away from Anthony Ralston right now. I'll give Alistair a 5 for the time he was on.
Yeah, I'll give him a 6, John. I thought he was brilliant. He's gets up and down that line, brilliant. And it's because he goes up and down that line that's caused injury. He's chasing up and down that line and he pulled his hamstrings. So yeah, 6 for me. A wee question I've always wanted to ask you, actually, John, before we go any further. Who did you prefer, or who do you prefer as right back at Celtic? I was thinking about this the other day. Who was a better right back? I know we don't like to do that with Celtic players, but it's allowed, Alistair Johnston or Lustig, John. Who was your better right back at Celtic? Who was your preferred right back? Who did you think was the better right back?
It's a tough one, aye. I loved Lustig, as every Celtic fan did. I thought he was a cracking player, Lustig.
Yeah.
Alistair Johnston seems to have a bit more pace about him, didn't he? A bit more muscle. He's a bit more boisterous. He's a kind of Bruni type player. I like Alistair. For me, it's got to be Alistair Johnston. When he's on his game, Alistair Johnston's unstoppable. So, but Lustig had a consistency about him as well, and he could play centre half. If I was to pick right now who I'd want in the team, it would be it's a tough one, isn't it? Alistair Johnston.
It's tough. When you look at what Lustig's done and when you look at Alistair John, they're just 2 top class right backs, aren't they? But I sort of agree with you, actually, John. I think Alistair's got a wee bit more about him as regards to pace and tackling. Both very similar with balls into the box, so both very good. Both can score a goal as well. Both can defend. But I'm with you. I'm just very slightly choosing Alistair. Anyway, John, let's get back to the. Leave a comment, by the way, if you disagree. Leave a comment in the comment section if you disagree. Right, John, back into this scoring. Big Cameron Carter-Vickers. Sorry, John. That was a blunder and a half. The one he took his eye off the ball and the boy hits the shot from just past the halfway line. He was very unlucky, that boy. I did mention him in the preview, John, Ed Milson. I did say he's one to watch. But what an effort that was, John. Just maybe a foot over the bar, if even that.
Well, reminiscent of the Rangers game, wasn't it? It's similar type shot from about 45 yards out. Lucky for us, it never landed in the back of the net. Look, every player's got a mistake in them. We've said this, doesn't matter who you are. You've got a mistake in you. It can happen at any time in any game for any player. So I'm not going to hold that against Big Cameron. And they get a free kick because Carter-Vickers was stronger than their player. But the officials were absolutely shocking. And I was raging at that as well. How's that a free kick? I don't know if you remember it in the second half. He's ushered the player out the park, stronger player, and they get a free kick for it. And that's right in front of the linesman. Very poor officiating. But anyway, marking Big Cameron Carter-Vickers, I thought he did okay. Apart from that wee blunder, like I says, easy mistake to make. Take your eye off the ball. I've given him a 5.5 Sander.
Yeah, 6 then for me, John. It's strong enough. You've got to remember this team is attacking, John, so the defenders were working hard on Wednesday night, John. So, yeah, 6 from me as well for Cameron. Big Scalesy, what's your thoughts on the big man?
They didn't really look troubled, to be honest with you, Big Liam. Had a couple of bad efforts on goal that he should have been sticking in the net, I think, from corner kicks. I've noticed Celtic taking a lot more direct corner kicks these days. Anyway, get to the marking. That's pointless talking about that. But Big Liam, I don't think he did much wrong. Give him a 6.5.
Yeah, I thought he was decent. Could have done better with a couple of the efforts you're talking about, John. So we can talk about it. But he didn't. But he's a defender, so you've got to bear that in mind as well. But I thought he played well. Beside Big Cameron again, 7 for me for Liam. Another clean sheet into it, as you say, John. That's what the defenders are there for, to keep clean sheets. And Kieran Tierney on the left, John. Quick opinion and a score.
He was okay. Wasn't he great, Kieran? I notice he's coming off early in these games, Kieran.
Yeah.
That's quite, and it's no worrying, but I think I agree with Brendan doing that, bringing him off early in the games, because he's quite injury prone, isn't he? But he played okay. I'll give Kieran a 6.
Yeah, he's okay. He's not quite doing that Taylor inverted role just now anyway, is he? But he is a top quality player. His crosses into the box are just top notch, aren't they? But yeah, he didn't really get the chance to do that on Wednesday night. And as you say, he's coming off early as well in these games just now. So 6 for me as well for Kieran. Right, John, let's get to the nitty gritty of it all then. Where do you start? Sorry, I was just waiting on that siren going off there, John. I'm outside in the car just now. Callum McGregor. I think he was eliminated for this game with the early yellow card, John. He had no choice. They were breaking on us. He put the boy back. It's a definite yellow card. But I think that sort of eliminated him from the game, John, to be perfectly honest with you. That's just my opinion. What about you, John? What's your opinion and a score?
Well, definitely he was eliminated from the game. That just put him right off his stride, that getting that yellow card. They took one for the team. It was a yellow card. It was the correct decision. Never had a great game after that, Callum, I'm afraid. It's a 5 for me. Too much backwards and sideways, Xander, and I wasn't happy with that performance. A 5 for me.
Yeah, he wasn't controlling the game, was he, the way he normally does. So just one of the days, one of the nights even, where we just didn't click, and I'll give him a 6, John. Rio Hatate, John. What would you think, buddy?
It means a lot to Rio in these games. You can tell it means a lot to him. But there was no space for him to manoeuvre, and there was nobody making moves in front of him or anything like that. It was a tough night for Rio, but I thought he was okay. I'm giving Rio a 7. I thought he was okay. Yeah.
It's just one of the games, John, where just everybody didn't really do what they normally do. It was hard to explain. I know Kaira Amati have got a lot to do with that, but I'll give him a 6, John. I'll give him a 6 as well. And obviously we had Nigel, who started the game, John, instead of Arnie Engels. Again, not a lot of space in the middle of the park, was there? They were shutting everything down very quickly. They actually done their homework pretty well, didn't they? But what did you think, John, Nigel?
Again, I just don't think he done enough for me. There was a lot I think he did it a couple of times, try to put a forward ball and kicking it right out the park. I know his attackers were giving up very early on the balls that was chipped through. Instead of putting their full heart into it and trying to get there, they were just giving up. But we'll get to the front line, because this is where it went wrong for me. But Nigel, give him a 5, Xander.
Yeah. Sorry, John, you broke up a wee bit there, but I'll give him a 6. I don't know if you said 6 as well, but I'll give him a 6, John.
No, I says 5.
Oh, did you? Right, okay. All right, John, as you say, the forward line. Let's get into the forward line, where I think we've got all of our major problems just now. We'll start with James Forrest, who wasn't as dynamic as he has been the last 2 or 3 games. I thought the wee man's been brilliant, but again, like the rest of the team, John, we're not just picking on individual players here. He just wasn't at the races, was he?
Trying his hardest, no space for him to work in. He still puts in a decent cross, but a lot of the crosses, their keeper was coming out and just plucking it out there. So the crossing ability last night was terrible. Jamesy Forrest for me, I think he tried his best. He always does try his best. He's a very tricky player to mark up into, Jamesy. I thought he played okay though, Xander. I'm giving Jamesy a 6.5.
Yeah, was the worst player on the park, and I'll give him a 6 as well, John. Then we go to the left, Dyson Meader, who was also put through the middle at one stage in the game. I don't know, John. I just don't think Dyson's kicked his season off yet, to be honest with you. I know he got his goal last week against Falkirk, so we all hoped that would be him kicking his season off. And then last night comes in. It seems to me that he's sort of not got his first touch quite right yet. I know it's early doors, but he's not quite right there. It's quite right just now anyway, John, the first few games of the season. But obviously he's going to get that by game time. But last night I thought he was a wee bit clumsy, John, and I'll give him a 5.5.
He was poor, no clumsy. He was poor last night. That's the be all and end all of Dyson Maida last night. He was very poor. And tracking back, he did that a couple of times, which I like about Dyson, but he's a forward player. And if you're talking about doing your job in your position, Dyson Maida for me gets a 4 for last night.
Yeah, fair enough, John. And anyways, clumsy as well, John, because he was tripping over the ball and that a few times, more than once. He done it. He just tripped.
He was clumsy and a half. It was really bad. I don't think I've ever said that about Dyson, but last night, I don't know, maybe he just wasn't confident in the guy that was in the middle.
Well, that's what we're going to get to just now, John. We don't want to pick on Adam Meader. We're giving an honest assessment here. And we're allowed to be critical of players when they play bad, so that's not a problem. Big Adam Meader, for me, he now needs drop from the team, John, to be perfectly honest with you. We talked about Dyson Meader there being clumsy. The big man just can't hold the ball up. He's a big physical 6 foot plus striker, John, that can't hold the ball up. He can't find the net. He can't find the pass, John. It just needs drop for the team. There's something wrong with the boy just now. Maybe it's a confidence issue. I'm not too sure. I'm giving him a 3. He only played one half as well, John, as well. He got took off at half time with Dyson put through the middle with Yang coming on. But a 3 for me, John, and I think the boy needs he needs his head sorted out, and he needs time to readjust, I think.
I'll translate that. He needs punted onto another team.
So was I speaking another language there?
I think you are, right? You're not speaking the same language I'm speaking anyway. You know my feelings on Adam Meader. I tell you off the podcast a lot. I just don't think he's Celtic quality. And I think Norwich City, they're laughing at us. They've got to be laughing at us paying £9 million for him. They held us to ransom for that £9 million. And I spend £9 million, and I'm going to say it, you get a donkey in return. I just don't think he's Celtic quality. He's getting a 1 for me.
Okay, John, fair enough. That's fair enough. There's a lot of Celtic supporters that are not happy with him. And I watched the game on RTE on Wednesday night, John. I didn't watch it on TNT. The commentators were doing my head in. So I watched it on Irish channel, John, and obviously they're Irish commentators, and they're not happy with him. So he's an Irish player, John, and they're not happy with him. So a lot of Celtic supporters are the same. In fact, if not the majority of the Celtic supporters are not happy with Big Adam Meader. So a 1, that's fair enough. I give him a 3. We'll have a wee quick word on the subs, John. Yang came on, impressed for 5 minutes, and then fell away after 5 minutes. But that's what we've always said about Yang. He's inconsistent. We've always said that, John, when he plays for the start, he's inconsistent. And that was proved last night. Went it when he came on, done 5 minutes, done wonders for 5 minutes, played brilliant for 5 minutes, and then disappeared.
Aye, it's a funny one, Yang, isn't it? It was, I think Yang started to realise I ain't getting any joy here either. And it just gave in. It looked like the players just gave in. I feel bad giving Adam Meader a 1, by the way, but that's how I feel. And I just don't think he should play for Celtic again. Unless he bucks his ideas up very, very quick, starting with Livingston. Maybe buying a wee hat trick or something like that. You just don't know with Adam, because we always get goals in him, didn't we? We've seen him doing it in Europe against Aston Villa and that. And his first spell at Celtic, practically won us a cup. He was outstanding. But now we're starting to see, I think we're starting to see the real Adam Eder, and it's time he was moved on, Xander. But Yang, aye, what can I say? Like you says, he had 5 minutes where he looked like he was changing the game, and then he gave in, thinking, nah, we're not getting it. I think all the players' attitude last night was, we're never going to break this down. It looked like that was their attitude.
Yeah, that was the attitude, but you could tell right away. I don't think they knew what to do, because they were also attacking. You know, it's like you're trying to break them down and try to prevent them from the counter-attack, John. It was a very tough slog for the boys last night. And we actually, you know, we're definitely still in the tie. I mean, we're not like Rangers losing 3 goals at half-time. It's nothing like that, you know. We're still in the tie. We've still got a great chance. I know people are thinking about this massive journey and the heat and everything else. We'll go into that in a wee minute about the heat, etc., John. But I think there's still a great chance for us to go through, John. I think we can go over there and win the game, no problem. But turn up the way we did last night, we have absolutely no chance.
Aye, well, I'm not saying we're beat. I've not said that yet, and neither have you. None of us have says we're out. I ain't saying that. We just need the real Celtic to turn up. It's as simple as that. And hopefully by the time we get there, there's a bit more energy in the legs, a bit more enthusiasm. Maybe we get a good result against Livingston. Maybe Adam Eder will play. Maybe he'll score a goal or two. Maybe that'll give him confidence. Look, we don't know. We really don't know, because the game's not played yet. But we've got to go over there and turn over that team who they're going to fancy it over there, Xander. I think Kairat will fancy their chances over there. But it's down to Celtic to show up this time. They never showed up last night. Will they show up next week? That's the big question.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess just now. To sack the boards, you know, fans booing. I mean, anyway, John, we'll move on. Let's move on, because we want to get some comments done later on. We can go through all that in the comments. Wee quick word on Engels and Ralston, John. I think you sort of quickly mentioned it earlier there, but what's your wee thoughts on the 2 subs that came on, Engels and Ralston?
The only thing Engels offers me is he can throw in a corner. That's the only thing he does for me. He can take a decent corner kick. Apart from that, hopeless. I've spoke about the boy many times, and I says to you, I predicted Nygren to start every game from now to the end of the season, and so far I've been right. Because Engels for me he ain't Celtic quality. No yet anyway. He's still a young boy. Maybe a loan would do him. Because right now he's not ready to play for Glasgow Celtic. I thought he was poor last night when he came on again. And Tony Ralston, heart of a lion, he came on last night as well. And he ain't no substitute for Alistair Johnston. He did okay though, I suppose. You know, never really did anything wrong. So can't say anything bad about the boy. He did okay when he came on.
Yeah, okay, fair play, John. And I've heard people saying we need a backup left back in case anything happens to Kieran Tierney. John, we signed Inamura. Where is he? Where is Inamura? He played a blinder in the close season, the pre-season, sorry. He played an absolute blinder. And people say we need a backup left back. Where is Inamura, John? And where is the boy we signed from Man City as well? The big centre-half we signed from Man City as well. Where is he? Puzzi, John, where is he? Where are these boys that we've signed? Not seen any signing them. They can't do any worse than the performing players we had on the field on Wednesday night.
I know. I was thinking the same thing myself, although Brendan did say Inamura isn't quite ready yet to step up to the first team. He's not ready yet. That was his words.
Strange.
So that's what Brendan's saying. Inamura ain't ready for the first team yet, so maybe we'll see him a bit later on in the season, Xander.
But he plays every pre-season.
He plays in pre-season. Brendan's obviously wanted to have a good look at him. I thought he acquitted himself excellently. I thought he was outstanding. And right now what we're doing is we're bringing on Austin Trusty, who seems to be playing quite well right now, by the way, Big Austin. Fair play to him.
Yeah.
He seems to have upped his game a wee bit, Big Austin. And what we're doing now is putting him in the middle and putting Liam Scales on the left. But Liam Scales ain't a left back. I think he does okay there, but he ain't got the pace to play a full back position. So I can't wait to see Inamura coming out of the park, because what I've seen is an outstanding talent.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So just thought I'd ask the question, John. It's a bit strange that he plays every pre-season game and then doesn't get a look in against teams like, Falkirk, whatever, John. Anyway, John, we'll move it on. Let's move it on quite rapidly. We've done the ratings then. Let's have a wee quick look at next week's fixture then, John. 6:45 kick-off, 6:45 next Tuesday night. I've mentioned the 7,000-mile round trip, John. 3.5 miles there, 3,500 miles back. So it's going to be very tough on the players. We did already say that we both think Celtic will still qualify. We're not going to change our mind on that. 29 degrees. I've already checked the weather for next Tuesday, John, over in Kazakhstan. 29, 30 degrees next week. It's going to be absolutely roasting. High altitude as well, John. No cloud, no wind. It's just going to be a bit of a nightmare, isn't it?
Aye. No oxygen. Need an oxygen. You need an oxygen container there to play there. But they players are used to that, so that's one thing Celtic will need to watch. So you might see another slow-paced Celtic with Kairat obviously used to it. Might fancy their chances. Yeah,
maybe we should take the boys up to, I don't know, Glencoe or something, the top of the mountains there, and let them have a wee kick-about up there.
Aye, Ben Nevis, aye.
Aye, for 20 minutes. Anyway, John, we'll move on. And by the way, fair play to the Kairat fans, as you say, John. I thought they were brilliant last night. Their wee excited faces with a nothing each straw. It was brilliant. I felt for them, and well done to every single one of them, buddy.
Aye, exactly, aye. I mean, there was moments in that game all I could hear was Kairat fans singing. So, look, they enjoyed their night. Their team played excellent. So, aye, fair play to them, and hope they had a safe journey back.
Yeah, that's it, John. Yeah, safe journey to both teams travelling in these fixtures, because it's a fair old trek, isn't it? Right, before we get to the Livingston game, then, John, the build up to the Livingston game, and I can't believe I'm going to ask you this, but who was your man of the match?
Man of the match last night. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because there wasn't really an outstanding performer last night. Right away, I'm bypassing the centre of the park, apart from Rio Hatate, who had a few bad moments himself. I think I'm going to have to give it to Kasper Schmeichel, because he never did anything wrong, apart from, he did nothing wrong. He got a clean sheet. He did his job. And if you're doing your job, you've done nothing wrong, I think you've got to give it to Kasper.
Yeah, fair play, John. Clean sheet. You can't grumble with that. And I'll also give it to a defender. I'll give it to Big Scales, who more or less had a flawless night. He didn't put a foot wrong. Everybody else was sort of making mistakes. So anyway, it doesn't really matter, John. Let's get into this Livingston game. And by the way, good luck to Celtic on the return leg next Tuesday. Right, John, build up to this Livingston game. Let's get right into it. Brendan's already said he's going to have to rest players. So good luck with your predicted lineup for that one, John. But he's going to rest the players. So there's going to be wholesale changes in this game, John. It's a sort of a game we can be doing without, to be honest with you, John. I know Aberdeen cancelled their game at the weekend because they've got the trip next week in Europe, and Hibs have also cancelled their game, John. So a couple of cancellations there. Falkirk and Hibs postponed, Dundee United and Aberdeen postponed. I don't know why Celtic and the Rangers couldn't postpone their games, but we're playing our game, John, so we have to play the fixture. So as I say, it's Saturday, John, 3 o'clock kick-off, back to the Saturday kick-off. I think the referee's Clancy for this one. Kevin Clancy is the man in the middle, and Stephen McLean is your man on the bar. So be quick word on with your thoughts on the officials.
Well, my thoughts on the officials. That is what it is, isn't it? We need to take who's offered to us. I don't really have any opinion on them, but my thoughts are thoroughly on the game itself, Sander.
Yeah, on the game itself. And looking at the game itself, John, it's a great chance for us to go. By the way, Clancy, I just wanted your thoughts because I think Clancy's a dreadful referee. Anyway, John, I think there's a great chance here for us to go 7 points clear of Rangers this early in the season, a home tie against Livingston, John. But it's these wholesale changes that's concerning me. Brendan's come out and said he's going to have to make the changes. He's already said it, John, so that's official. So I wanted as strong a team as possible to play Livingston. To go That's 7 points clear of Rangers, who play St Mirren on the Sunday, John. That's another very tough fixture for them, over to St Mirren Park to play the Buddies, John. So, but it's not going to be the strongest team possible, John. But 3 points, vital in this one.
Of course, aye. I mean, the last time we made wholesale changes, we scalped Aberdeen 5-1 up at Pittodrie. And then the first team played them in the final and get put out the cup. Well, beat in the final. So, look, wholesale changes is never necessarily a bad thing, because a lot of these boys are desperate to get into that team. So, aye. Just think back to Pittodrie at the end of the season when we scalped them 5-1, Xander. That was the last time we made wholesale changes.
Yeah, I hope we get a similar sort of outcome on Saturday, because it's, as I say, it's a great chance to put real pressure on them, to be honest with you, John. And I know we're all thinking about the European thing just now, and it's in the back of our heads. It's there, it won't go away, we understand that. We've got a massive tie on Tuesday night. It's going to be very difficult to go through. But, John, the bread and butter is also important, John. So let's quickly go through it then. It's 1-5, a Celtic win, 7-1 the draw, 19-1 for Livingston to come out of paradise with all 3 points. Cammy Kerr, he's the only one missing for Livingston, John. He's the only doubt for Livingston. So get your thinking cap on, John. I'm going to ask you for a predicted 11 in a wee minute. But Cammy Kerr is the only injury doubt for Livingston. In fact, it's not a doubt, he's definitely out of this one, the right back. And Celtic obviously have their 2 main injury concerns. Jota still out injured, he'll be out to January at least. And now Alistair Johnston, who is also missing for this one, John. We're hoping this isn't going to be any more than 2 to 3 weeks, but I've got a wee feeling it's going to be maybe a couple of months for Alistair.
It didn't look good last night from, did it?
No.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks for me for Alistair. So he's going to be a huge miss, Alistair, isn't he? So we're going to have to make do with Anthony on the right hand side for now. That's a huge loss. That Xander was gutted for the boy. You know, he loves Celtic. He loves playing for the fans. And one player you didn't want getting injured is. I've always said it. He's like the next Bruni to me, Alistair Johnston. I love him. I think he's a great Celtic servant. It's a huge loss.
Yeah, especially Ibrox coming up, Kairat and Watty and other big games coming up, John. So, speedy recovery to Alistair anyway, John. We'll find out probably on Friday the extent of his injury. Okay, I'll quickly run through what I think the Livingston lineup is going to be. That gives you a wee minute or a wee 20 seconds to think about what you think the Celtic lineup's going to be. I know it's no easy because of the changes that Brendan's already announced. It's going to be Pryor in goal, Finlayson, Blaney, Captain McCowan for Livingston, Lowell will start for me, Silla, who I think is a very decent midfielder for Livingston, Silla, Tate, Pittman, May. I think he'll start. He didn't start at the weekend against his, but I think he'll start this one. Muirhead and Winter, that's my predicted starting 11 for Livingston, John. So, there you go, John. It's down to you. What are you thinking? I've got my own wee ideas what it's going to be. What are you thinking, buddy?
I was thinking about Stevie May there. I watched him playing at the weekend. I don't know if he started the game because I seen the last 25 minutes or something like that, and he was on the park then.
Yeah, he came on as a sub. He's right rotten. But anyway, John, I've known I've said that he'll come back to haunt us, but hopefully not. He's sort of past it, Stevie May now, isn't he? But
he was always past it. He was always wrong, Stevie May. I mean, like you says, don't want to come back and haunt us, but I've never ever rated that boy whatsoever. I see he's cut all his long hair off. He's now sporting a crop top.
Yeah, in other words, he's gone baldy. But yeah, I noticed that as well, John. I said, is that Stevie May? Sort of, why are we going on about Stevie May, by the way? But I did have to have a second look. Is that Stevie May? And it was him. But I think he'll start on Saturday against us, John.
I've no idea, but we'll wait and see. He must be doing something right, Stevie May. I know we're still talking about him, but he's played for a lot of teams, isn't he?
It has. A lot of big teams, John. He's played for Aberdeen, did he not? That's Stevie May.
I'm trying to remember the St Johnstone. I know he had a long stint at St Johnstone. Yeah. I think he did play at Aberdeen as well, aye. Now he's at Livingston. There's another couple of teams there. I don't want. Let's get away from Stevie May. Who cares who he played for?
Celtic line up then, John. What are you thinking there? It's got to be tough thinking about it, but it's because you think of these sort of players we've got on the fringes. You know, players that are close to starting games, but don't quite start games. That's the kind of player we're looking at here, isn't it? Your Yangs of this world, your Ralstons of this world, Trustees. You know, all these sort of boys. Are these guys going to get a game for the start? Do you think?
I don't think Ralston will, because he's going to keep him because we've no right back for midweek. It's a tough one trying to pick the starting lineup. By the way, I wouldn't be surprised to see Stevie May at Celtic the way things are going. I mean, there's talk about signing that Vardy guy, wouldn't they? Who'd want him in their team? He's nearly 40-year-old.
I think that's pie in the sky stuff, John. But it's a story that doesn't go away. But we had stories all through the summer that didn't go away. But you know, the players never actually signed. So no, that's not going to happen, I don't think, John. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. Vardy, 38-year-olds, you know.
Aye, well, Steptoe.
Steptoe's da, innit? Steptoe.
Aye, you have to get the old guy in Steptoe and son, aye. And you also had David Turnbull, who looked like him and all, by the way.
No, he's I don't know, he's maybe days a wee turn there, John. You know, it could it be any worse than Big Adam just now, the way he's playing, the way he's off for him. You know, could it be any worse than him? You know, there is English teams still looking at Vardy as well, you got to remember.
Yeah, you've got to fire Dyson Maeda up front, Sander. See, from now on, you've got to play Dyson up front. I don't know who's going to play in the left-hand side on the wing, but we need to stop playing Adam Eder up front because that ain't working. Anyway, Celtic line-up, Sinisalo. I think he's got to start. I love him. I think he's going to be a Celtic number one pretty soon, I think, Sinisalo. Brilliant keeper. Absolutely top class. So, the big man, Sinisalo, he's going to start. Centre of the park, I think Austin Trusty will get a start this one.
Yeah.
Beside the young boy that just signed his contract, can't remember his name. Who's the young boy again? Can't remember his name. Aye, I think he'll start.
Yeah.
Is that who I'm thinking about?
Yeah, Big Dane Murray's a brilliant defender, John, actually. Good call there, actually.
But I think him and Trusty will start that. Left-hand side. We have to go another left back, have we? Other than Kieran Tierney.
And Amura.
And Amura, Brendan says he's not ready for the team. If he can't get a start against Falkirk, he's not going to get a start against Livingston.
Yeah, I think we'll see him, John. I think he'll start.
You think so? Aye. Well,
I think he's got an option. Yeah, I think he's going to have to either play Scales there, rest Tierney, or bring in Amura.
No, I think he's going to start with Kieran Tierney, and he might. Kieran Tierney start this one, I think.
Look it up.
Right hand side, Anthony Ralston.
Yeah.
Centre of the park, might see some changes in there. Engels will start this one, I think. Callum McGregor will start this one.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Luke McCowan. No, Luke McCowan.
Yeah.
So my centre of the park is Engels, McGregor, and Luke McCowan.
Look it up.
Up front, it's a tough one, isn't it? Definitely no Adam Eder. Something wrong if he gets a start, by the way. Going to go for Kenny up front. I think he might play Shin on the right or left. Not really too sure about these positions. And Yang. He might play Yang on the left and Shin on the right.
Yeah. Something
like that. I'm not sure, but I think they will start with Johnny Kenny through the middle.
Yeah, it's not the kind of lineup. You know, even as backup, it's no the strength we're looking for, is it? It's concerning. It is concerning. You can understand why the fans are booing the board, John, to sack the board and everything else. But no start for Vardy for you then, John?
Well, he's not there. No, if Vardy was at Celtic right now, I think Brenda would be relying on him to play in the Champions League. And that's sad thinking about that, a 38-year-old player. Guy's nearly 40. Some guys can play into later than 40 and still put in a decent shift. So, I don't know how fit he is, but if he was at Celtic, I think he would replace Adam Eder for sure, aye.
Yep. Okay. Right, John. That's it. That's enough of the lineup. I more or less agree with you. Actually, that's quite a good lineup for Livingston, and that means all the players that played last night can have a rest for this big travelling 3,500 mile trip to Kazakhstan and that heat as well. You know, it's going to be really tough, really tough. But of course, our Matty players had to do that on Wednesday night as well, John, didn't they? So what goes around comes around, I suppose. Right, score prediction, John. Let's get to this big dilemma between you and I. Is it 5-1? Is it 6-1? Who cares, to be honest with you, John? It's let's get to it, but we need to do it because we need to do the competitions. And by the way, folks, get your guesses in for the big league table. Top 5 there. John's in amongst it already. Get your guesses in for the Livingston game into the comments. I'm having to send reminders to folks, John, to get their guesses in. I shouldn't need to send reminders. Get your guesses in, folks. No, everybody, by the way. There is people sending their guesses in, but there is people I'm having to send reminders to. Get your guesses in, folks, because you want these 3 points on the board. You don't want to miss your chance to get 3 points on the board. You don't want to be rock bottom of this table come May, Stevie May. Right, John. For another 3 points, what are you saying?
Oh, the Celtic game. By the way, I'm checking the predictor. I'll tell you the scores that I got right at the weekend.
Right, go for it.
I got the Celtic game right, I got the Kilmarnock game right, I got the Partick Thistle game right, and I got the Celtic ladies game right, and you got the Motherwell game right.
Right, okay, fair enough, John. 6-1 it is then. Still hundreds of time for me to bring it back. Don't worry about that.
That's only 2 games into the season. 2-3 games, know what I mean?
Yeah.
Weekend anyway, Celtic against Livingston. Considering we'll probably have a thoroughly depleted first team. I'm going to call Livingston will be they'll be loving that result. They'll be watching that thinking we can get it. We can play a similar performance in and get something here. They'll be thinking that.
Yeah, and they're also a massively physical team yet again. Remember we spoke last podcast, John, about the physicality of the teams we saw so far against Rangers and Celtic. Very physical teams, John, very physical, and Livingston are no different. They are a massive team, so you know, as you say, they'll be fancying their chances. So, will that affect your prediction in any way? Will the resting of the players affect your prediction, John? What do you think, buddy?
Nah. The only thing that affects my decision here with the scoreline is it's a weakened team, but weakened teams are never always a bad thing. They can be a bad thing, but it doesn't always work out like that, as we've seen up at Pittodrie. But I'm going to go for 3-0 Celtic.
Yeah, sounds like a fair one, doesn't it, John? I'd take it all day to go 7 points clear at the top of the, well, not at the top of the league, ahead of Rangers. Maybe take that all day. I think it's going to be closer, slightly closer, John. 2-0 Celtic, I'll say. I think there's issues at Celtic just now that need resolved very quickly. We want these issues resolved. Hopefully come Saturday kick-off, we've got a couple of players in the door as well, John. I know it doesn't help us for the Amate game, but you know it'll help boost the squad, I suppose. So I'll say 2-0 to the champions on Saturday, John. Good luck with prediction, by the way, and well done getting the 4 predictions right. That is outstanding. Last year it took us 3 or 4 weeks to get 4 right, John. So that is actually outstanding. Well done in getting the 4 top notch performance there, John. Let's get into this week's predictor then, John. Starting on Friday night, we have Raith Rovers against Neil Lennon's Dunfermline. What are you thinking, buddy?
Oh, I'll just go at Raith Rovers ground then, I take it. So
yeah,
Raith Rovers, well supported wee team, isn't they?
Yeah.
I'll go for a Raith Rovers win there. I'll go for a 2-1 Raith Rovers.
Okay, I'll say 1-each, John. Another draw for me. And to Saturday then, we have Hearts against the Well, the Jam Tarts against Motherwell. Hearts flying, aren't they? Although they did get knocked out the cup, didn't they, at the weekend? So, you know, flying in the league, not doing so well in the cup. What do you think, John?
Hearts 3, Motherwell 1.
3-1 to the Jambos, and I'll say 2-0 to Hearts. Kilmarnock against Dundee, John, on that plastic pitch.
I've got my last Kelly prediction correct. I'm going to go for another Kelly win, 2-1.
Okay, 2-1, and I will say, very, very tough. Dundee are a decent wee team as well, and 2-0 to Kilmarnock for me. Falkirk Hibs postponed. Dundee United Aberdeen postponed because of European ties. So we move into Brunei Watch, John Morton against Ayr. I mean, Brunei has had a pretty bad start to the season, hasn't he? Now he's away to Greenock Morton. John, what do you think?
I'm not sure. Greenock Morton. I always say they're a good team, but they're not. They seem to get beat every time I say Greenock Morton's a good team, but they're obviously struggling. I'm going to go for a Brunei one here. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Ayr United.
Okay, 2-1 Ayr. 1-2, I'll mark that as, and I'll say 2-0 to Greenock Morton for me in that one. Celtic B.
Good wee team.
Good wee team. Ferryden against Celtic B on Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff.
No idea. 3-0 Celtic.
Yeah, they picked up a wee bit, didn't they? I'll say 4-0 Celtic. No, I'm going to change it, John. People say you should never do that, didn't they? I'm going to say 2-1 Celtic, John. There you go. So they're decent, these sort of Lowland League teams, aren't they? Right, okay.
Some of them are okay, aren't they?
Nah, not bad. And it's Sunday then, John. St Mirren against the Rangers, John. 12 o'clock kickoff. Very, very, very tough fixture for them. You know, especially what happened in midweek in Europe. An absolute gubbing. And I was disappointed, John. Let's go off the predictor for a second. I was disappointed in Club Brugge, if I'm going to be honest with you. 3-0 up. Could have went on to win 5, 6, 7, 8-0, John, if they wanted to. And they actually took their foot off the gas before half-time. Normally these teams come out at half-time and they take it easy a wee bit like they did. But they'd actually done it 10 minutes before the half-time whistle, John. I think I was a wee bit disappointed. But, you know, they still get the 3-1 win. Rangers are in a bit of disarray themselves, aren't they? So what's your prediction with that one?
I was disappointed with Bruges as well, but also I'm not disappointed with the result. But that goal, that's a calamity in defence for Rangers, that one at that. Just standing there watching it running by him, the boy runs on it and chips the keeper from about 30 yards.
Yeah, the first goal, wasn't it? Yeah.
Outstanding finish, by the way, well done. And we nearly fell for the same thing last night. Casper was in the back of the net scrambling to get it, wasn't he? But anyway, we've talked about that. I'm going to go for a 1-1.
Take that as well, wouldn't you? So it's very tough, isn't it, to predict these. 2-1 to St Mirren for me, John. All right.
Oh, big one, huh?
Yeah, I just think there's trouble over there, you know, over the other side of the river. Big trouble. I know we had our problems on Wednesday night, but they can't buy a win just now. Anyway, John, let's move on. Celtic against Hamilton and the ladies game. Celtic at home against Hamilton, 2 o'clock on Sunday. John, what do you think?
I'm thinking 6-0 Celtic ladies.
Yeah, well, you give me a wee pointer because I've not got a clue about Hamilton or anything like that. 4-1 for the ladies for me. Okay. Tonight, John, Thursday night, we have 2 Scottish teams in Europe. Good luck to both of them, Hibs and Aberdeen. Good luck to both. The SPL sides, John. Hibs against Legia Warsaw, sorry.
Legia.
Legia Warsaw, John. They're a good team.
The only Legia I ever heard of was Legia Mountbatten out the Ruttles.
The Ruttles are brilliant. Legia Warsaw gave us a game and a half a few years ago, John. They're a decent team. I think Hibs are going to find it tough tonight against them. What do you think?
The Polish teams are generally very good sides. I think Polish sides, very tough opponents. I think that'll be a tough game for Hibs. I'm going to go for 2-1 Legia.
I think it's going to be tough as well, John. I think it's going to be 2-0 Legia. I think they're a very good team, actually. When we played them a couple of years ago, they were brilliant against us. So, I think they'll take care of us. But hopefully not. Hopefully Hibs can get a wee result there, John. Okay. Last one on the predictor then. Aberdeen against the FCSB, a.k.a. Steaua Bucharest, John. Aberdeen. Sort of an up and down start to the season, wasn't it? So, what do you think, buddy? Steaua Bucharest, don't know too much about them. I know Rangers played them a couple of years ago, or was it last year, and wiped the floor with them. We don't know if Aberdeen are going to do the same. What do you think?
I'll go 2-1 Aberdeen, Xander. I'm not really too sure, but I know they're not a great team, them, are they?
No.
Rangers wiped the floor with them. That's how good they are. But they're going to go for an Aberdeen win there. I'll go for a 2-1 Aberdeen. And good luck to both of them, by the way, Hibs and Aberdeen.
Yeah, good luck to them. And I'll say 1-each, John. Right, okay. That wraps up the predictor, John. Just to be quick, while I'm mentioning this, John, if you want to have a wee look at, dig out the comments, I'll have a quick mention of the competitions one more time. Folks, if you could hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, that would be appreciated. So we don't say that on the channel very often, but we're saying it today because we need to try and get the subscriptions up to that magical 5,000, folks. So hit that subscribe button, that would be appreciated. And competition, there's 25 people that have entered the competition for the season, the big league table. We need your entries into the comment section for the Livingston game. One guess each, everybody, into the comments to win the fantastic box of Celtic goodies at the end of the season. Full of stuff there. Celtic tops, scarves, flags, all sorts of things. Pens, lighters, ski rings. Just all sorts of goodies. I don't want to go through the full list. We will go through it a wee bit more later in the season, but it's just a box full of Celtic goodies. Legends frame prints, metal wall plaques as well. They're all still there. The gifts and the prizes are all still there, folks. So just get your competition entries into the comment section for the big league table. The 25 people know who I'm talking about. Get your entries in. And if you want to get your own guess into the comment section as well, just for a bit of fun, put your guess in and we'll read it out on the next podcast if you get it right. Right, John. Comments. A lot of angry Celtic supporters out there. And the Brendan Rodgers video I put on Wednesday night, the interview video that I put on, wee videos flying actually, thousands of views, but a lot of comments as well with angry Celtic supporters, John.
And you can't blame them. First up was Kevin Bennett, says Brendan will go at the end of the season. Once again, the board have let him down. Well, I kind of go, I still look at the £26 million that Brendan squandered and look at that as the reasoning behind that.
That could be the reason, John, but I also look at it as if you're not going to give the manager money to spend because of that reason, then he shouldn't be the manager. That's the way I look at it. You've got to back the manager, haven't you, John? The board has got to back the manager, and they have failed to back him. If you're not going to back the manager, you shouldn't be there. Get another manager in that you are going to back. That's the way I look at that, John. It's a great comment, actually.
Ange Postecoglou's free.
Sorry, John, you broke up there.
I says Ange Postecoglou's free.
He's free, a big Ange, yeah, of course. No, I personally want the manager to stay, and I want the board to back the manager. That's all everybody wants that supports Celtic, John. But it's not happened this year, has it? No, not yet anyway.
No, not yet anyway. I'm only kidding. Look, Brendan, he squandered a lot of money on players. We know that. And you can look at the board thinking, do we really want to give this guy any more money? Because he's basically thrown it away in players that aren't up to the job so far. And I'm only saying, anybody listening, I'm only saying that might be the board's thinking behind it. But like you say, Xander, you've got to back the guy that's in charge of the team, give him the money to get the players in that he thinks can do a job. And if it hasn't worked out at the end of the season, then you can get rid of him.
I mean, it's very tough, isn't it? Because a lot of people are blaming the manager. A lot of people are blaming the boards. It's an internal war that we don't actually need. And it's a war we don't need. We want everything to be smoothly running, John. It's a massive gamble by the board to back Brendan. We don't make this Champions League. We don't make the league stage of the Champions League, John. Kaira Amati put us out next Tuesday. That's a massive gamble lost, in my opinion, by not backing the manager.
It is a massive gamble, and it's an embarrassment if this happens, Xander. God forbid, but that's the way it's possibly going to shape up to be. But look, the game hasn't happened yet. we'll wait and see. Celtic need to put in something completely different to what they did last night, because that was pathetic last night, to be honest with you. I mean, I think it was a lot of tactical issues there as well. There wasn't a plan B, put it that way. It was pathetic. Let's move on to the next comment, Sander, because we're running into just over an hour here.
Okay, John, let's remember it.
We'll try and battle through them. UD says, okay, that's us sized them up for the next game. Our best players suspended. Let's show them what it is to be Celtic and get shot of Vida if anybody would take him. I don't think anybody would want him right now, the way he's playing.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, John, he's dropped very, very quickly, John. They've lost our 17-year-old starlet, John, who's gone to Chelsea, but we've lost Alistair Johnston, so it balances itself out.
This is it, Sander. Let's move on. Thanks for that.
Yes. Cheers, you
Next up was Mark J. Scott Films, who says, Brendan has been forced to play 4D chess by the board.
He's been forced to play chess, was that, John?
Aye, 4D chess, whatever that is. I know what 4D means, 4-dimensional, but I don't know what he means by that comment, to be honest with you.
It's just another one not happy with the board, John. It's you're going to get a lot of that, buddy.
4D chess, I can't even play just normal chess.
You can't play drafts.
I've never played chess in my life, and I don't intend to. I don't like the idea of being bored at my gourd for about 6 hours.
No, it's never a game that's appealed to me, to be honest with you. I've always wondered what it's about, to be honest with you, but I've never wanted to actually pick up a board and play it. 4D chess, thanks for the comment, pal.
Aye, well, Brendan's been forced to play 4D chess, whatever that is, but thanks anyway, mate, but I don't understand anything about chess. All I know is you sit one side of a table, somebody sits the other side of a table, and you board yourself rigid for 24 hours.
Yeah, that's it, John. And there might be a wee bit of mind games going on there, John. We don't know. But maybe Brendan picked that team last night to make a statement to the board. To get the guy, 4D chess might be right, actually. Maybe there's a bit of gamesmanship going on there, John. I'm going to play Adam Vida. I'm going to play James Forrest because that's the positions I need strengthened. Possibly, John. I might be talking mince.
It could be that. It could be the fact that Brendan's he spent all that money on their players. The board know that they're not up to the job, and Brendan's look, he's dropped Trusty and he's dropped Engels from the team as regular starters, I mean, but he's kept Adam Vida up front, probably because we don't really have another striker right now, but anyway, let's move on. Thanks for your comment.
Thanks, pal.
David Spark 4050 says Rodgers is a class act.
Yes, he is, John. I agree with that.
Right, thanks for that, David.
Yes,
Haggis, is that your name, Haggis? Yeah. Haggis says, wake me up when September ends. Same stuff, different season, I'm on the hoops.
That's what you were going to sing, wake me up before you go there. Wake me up Wednesday, aye. I know, John. It's just typical Celtic. And John, we've been through this dance many, many times before, John. And when that camera panned to Lawwell yesterday in the crowd, it sort of turned my stomach a wee bit, John, because he is the main reason for this lack of spending, John. I'm guaranteed that he's the main reason behind it.
Well, I don't think a lot of Celtic fans are happy with him. I've never been happy with him, but let's move on, Sander. But I agree with you. Next up was Scottish Guy 25. Scottish Guy 25 says, when he goes, I'll wish him well this time. This is not on him. Talking about Brendan. When he does go, I will wish him well, as long as he doesn't leave in the middle of the night. But could you blame him for going? He's not getting what he wants. He's not getting the funds. The purse strings have been locked shut, and Brendan clearly isn't happy with that.
No, yeah, and he's also not been offered a new contract yet either, John. Not yet. Anyway, he's in. This is him in his third year. He said he was going to stay the 3 years at least. He wants to stay. The board have not offered him a new contract yet, but the sooner we get this mess sorted, the better.
Aye, it's a mess. It's a total mess, and it's heartbreaking watching Celtic struggling against a team You know, they shouldn't even be in European competition, to be honest with you. But they've probably spent less than what Aberdeen have spent in their team. Celtic should not be struggling against a team at that level at Celtic Park on a Champions League night. Simple as that.
No, especially in the Champions League nights, John. That's where Celtic's history, main part of history, isn't it? And the Champions League, the European Cup, John. So that's the nights we need to be turning up.
Aye, but anyway, let's move on. Thanks for your comment.
Cheers, pal.
Gail Hanlon says, "Love you, Brendan. Come on, the boys." Thanks, Gail.
Thanks, Gail. Cheers for the comment, pal.
Alistair McGilvery says, "Brendan has did what he set out to do. The board must back his ambition instead of banking the money, I mean." But
yeah,
well,
it's a good point, isn't it, John? It's banking the money is exactly what's happening here. I mean, we've spent what, £2.5 to £3 million this summer bringing in projects. Absolutely scandalous, to be perfectly honest with you, John. And I'm a backer of Brendan Rodgers, John. I want him to stay. I want him to get the funds. I trust him. You know, he's a serial winner. He's done nothing but win trophies here for his came to Celtic, John. And I think we should be backing him to the hilt.
Sell the players and get your £26 million back, and I'll back him as well.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen, John. We're not going to sell Engels this summer, John, and we're not going to sell anybody else for that matter, John. Big Trusty, anybody at all that were brought in last season. We're not going to sell them.
No, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right, Xander. But I was going to ask you, if Celtic were to sell the three players, well, how much do you think they would get back right now?
As in fees, John, that we'd receive. I don't think
what percentage of that 26 million would be recouped?
Celtic have got a good business model there, John, so we're quite good as regards to that, but it's hard to tell. You know, I think we'd be lucky to get 20 million back, to be honest with you.
Very lucky. Anyway, I've just thought I would ask you. I think you'd be lucky to get 7-8 million back.
Well, it's tough, John, especially with that fee for Engels. You're going to struggle to get that back, definitely. Trusty, I think you've got a wee chance to get the money back for him. Who was the other one again?
Either.
You're going to struggle to get 9 million for him. Maybe I was a wee bit off then, John. Maybe 15 if you're lucky.
Well, maybe I was being a wee bit kind of mean there by saying that, but I maybe think a bit. Engels just, I don't know if maybe a loan move would suit Engels, a wee loan away, come back a better player. He's a good player already. Look, we know he's got some good traits about him. He can take a good corner. That's all I really see so far. He's always hiding in games. I think that's a big loss there so far anyway. Hopefully, look, anybody listening going, listen to him, he's getting on the players' backs. It's just the 26 million I'm talking about. And I obviously hope Engels, Ida and Trusty all become great Celtic players. I can't see it myself, but I hope they do become great Celtic players. I think Trusty would maybe see better out of him this season. He's looked good so far. Yeah,
when he came on, he has. And by the way, 60,000 people at Celtic Park were on the players' backs last night. So we're allowed to have our opinion as well, John. No problems there at all.
Oh, no, I've give my opinion on that. So if you don't like it, leave a comment if you don't like it. Because I can include you in a certain section that we've added to the podcast recently.
Yeah, Walloper of the week. Hopefully you've got one, John, because I've not really been looking out for a Walloper of the week. I think James Doran came up with a suggestion actually for Walloper of the week. I can't remember who it was. But
I read that. I think it was Alan McCoist or something like that, or one ex-Rangers player. Oh no, it wasn't Alan McCoist. It was can't mind his name. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Paul McGuigan says I better make sure I get his name right. Paul Hugh McGuigan.
Yeah.
He says, I don't know if it's me, but Brendan's eyes look baggy to me he says his eyes look very baggy to me. Very much a sign he's having trouble sleeping, worrying about the squad he has. Time for the board to take notice.
The massive statement for the board to take notice was Wednesday night, John. Whether Brendan's eyes are baggy or not. I think 60,000 screaming, booing Celtic fans at that board is, if that's not an eye opener, then nothing is. That was a massive message sent out by the Celtic fans last night, John. His eyes been baggy. Maybe he is under a bit of stress, John, possibly.
Maybe. Have a look at Conor Barron, then you can start worrying about baggy eyes.
That's true. That boy must have the worries of the world.
He must have. But I'm only kidding. And no offence to the boy, but he has got very baggy eyes. Anyway, next up was Brendan Maley. And Brendan says, unfortunately, they are giving it all. That was a very poor... let me read that again. Unfortunately, they aren't giving it all. That was a very poor display against a mediocre team. Against Rangers or Sefco, but he didn't say that. He says a word that rhymes with buns. We could have a problem if our performance is anything like tonight. Look, we shouldn't have a problem against Rangers whatsoever, because nobody else has got a problem with them.
No. And as regards to a mediocre team last night, John, you can't be mediocre if you went through 6 games in the qualifiers and then get into the playoff rounds to get you into the Champions League. You're not mediocre if you can do that. You're a decent team playing 6 games in these qualifiers, and a couple of the rounds were decent teams to put out as well, John. So, they done well, and that was the Bratislava was one of them. Last week they put out Bratislava, John, so they've got something about them, Almaty. That's the only thing I would disagree with there, to be honest with you. I think as regards to going to Ibrox, that's another story itself, John. That's a wee bit further down the line. We need to wait and see what happens on Tuesday night before we even start thinking about that game.
Aye, well, is that a seagull there, eh?
Aye, it's not in the car, I promise you.
I thought you were about a big net catching him. Anyway,
Seagulls in the podcast. You want to know on the podcast? He's standing right outside the car. No, John, there's you can't call them a sort of a team that we should be thumping like that. I know we should have been winning the game, and we should go through, and we probably still will go through, John. But no, they went through some very difficult ties to get to Celtic Park on Wednesday night.
They're a good team. They're a very good team, I think. But what he's meaning by that, Brendan's thinking, is they're a mediocre team, as in they're not a big team. They're a small nation of football. They're not a big team or anything like that. Celtic should be brushing them aside. But it doesn't always pan out like that. Look, I've seen it 100 times in games before. You think it's going to be an easy game, and it never works out that way. I thought Kaira Almaty were an excellent team.
Yeah, and the worrying thing for me is we've never went over to Kazakhstan and actually won. The twice we've been over there, we've drawn or lost the games, John. So, no, it's going to be tough. Nobody's saying it's going to be easy, Oh
no, it's a tough game. It was a cross last night with Celtic being bad and Kairat being half decent and well drilled. Every player knew what they were doing, and it's going to be the same over there. It's going to be a much tougher game, I think. But Celtic need to show their A game when they go over there. By the way, talking about Seagulls, I remember that time I was with you and we were eating at McDonald's and we were throwing chips out to them because McDonald's chips are rank rotten. Do you remember there was we were eating the wee corn on the cobs and we threw one out. It was obviously eaten, and we threw one out to see what would happen, and it actually ate it. A seagull ate it, and a full corn on the cob.
Yeah, it swallowed it, no problem, didn't it? Yeah, these things can eat rats whole, John. So a wee corn on the cob's no problem with them.
A big corn on the cob, you keep sticking in its throat. You could see the shape of it through its throat. But I never thought it was going to eat it. But there you go. We don't litter, by the way. I just threw it out to see what would happen. I thought it would just kind of sniff it and fly away, but it didn't eat it. I hope it was all right, by the way.
Can seagulls sniff?
I don't think so, but you know what I mean.
We'll get to the nonsense stage, aren't we?
Nonsense. I actually had an injured seagull around my back garden last week. It was a young seagull, and a cat was just about to pounce on it. Just gave it a kick and it flew away. The cat ran away on me.
Oh, the cat.
By the way, I'm only kidding. I didn't kick anything. I wouldn't do that. I'm just saying I had a wee seagull, a young one of the brown ones, young seagull, and a big cat was just about to pounce on it. And luckily I opened the door at that time and the cat ran away. That's what happened.
There you go. That's your favour returned after the corn on the cob incident.
Corn on the cob gate.
Oh, right, John.
Absolute nonsense, sir.
It's funny, but
Anyway, let's
Yeah,
move
go
on.
for it. Get comments. What else has been said, John?
Next up was Deirdre Kerr. Hello, Deirdre. It's Deirdre.
I wonder if Deirdre heard that on the last podcast. I put the wee clip Monty Python on, didn't I? So
Aye.
I wonder if she heard that. Anyway, what's Deirdre saying, John?
Deirdre says, keep going on, Brendan and the boys. Hail, hail. That was it. Thanks, Deirdre.
Yeah, cheers, Deirdre.
And next up was S4 Zillis. Behind you, Brendan, all the way. Thanks, Zillis.
Yeah, thanks, Zil. Another backer of Brendan and the boys.
Aye, I think it's just Zills. I'm not sure. Don't know. Thanks anyway. Next up was CK. And CK says, thank goodness I fell asleep. I think a lot of people were like that because I was like that myself. I was recording music before the game and I couldn't wait for the game to finish to get back to it.
Yeah, it was quite poor. Same as the Falkirk game, John. Very poor. Maybe it's just this early season lacklustre, performances, John. We hope we can get that out of our system very quickly. But no, John. I think it's more than that just now. I think there's a wee bit of disarray at the club just now with the fans, the board, and the manager, John. And we just need to get that fixed before Tuesday night.
Aye, we'll see what happens, Sander.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, next up was Inverness fan. An Inverness fan on here.
All right, there you go.
Inverness fan. What's that, Sander?
I think I missed that comment, John. I've not seen that one.
6 hours ago, Inverness fan says, I wonder if Vardy will go to Celtic.
All right. Who knows? We'll find out over the next couple of days, I suppose. I can't see it myself, but as I said earlier, John, stranger things have happened. And by the way, we've got a comment and somebody, I put one of the interviews on like I always do, and somebody put in a comment, I can't remember what interview it was, and somebody said, I was going to give this the thumbs up, but I've already seen it, the interview on 67 Hail Hail. Now, you went to the trouble to write a comment. How just hit the thumbs up or not? What difference does it make, And that's another thing, John. Have you noticed all these podcasts, not just Celtic, but other ones, are now putting on interviews, John? We've been doing it for about a year now, and other podcasts are slowly catching up.
Well, they're watching you, I tell you that right now. I've seen a lot of people copying the stuff that you put on and all that, so they're definitely watching the channel. Anyway, you've got nearly 5,000 subscribers. It's going to attract attention. So,
yeah, that's it.
67 Hail puts an interview, and that's up to him to do that. He's a good boy, him. I like him. I don't watch him now right enough, but I used to Hamish in it. Hamish
yeah, we are actually a member of his channel, John. He asked us to join, and we have, or has somebody associated with his podcast on Facebook have asked us to join him. So we're in there, John, and amongst it. Maybe that's where he got the idea for the interview. So that's fair enough, I suppose.
Well, it's a free platform to put on whatever you want, as long as you know what you're doing, that is. But good luck to Hamish and his channel. He's I quite like him out with women. I used to watch Celtic podcasts. He was one that I did enjoy. So him and the other, the Irish boy, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he was good when I used to watch the odd podcast as well, John. But you just got to be very careful of the copyright, because you get a strike on your channel, it affects it in a very bad way, as we learned to our cost last year, John.
Oh, aye, you've got to be careful, aye. But that killed the channel last year, didn't it? But no, I like the ones I used to like. I mean, was Hamish, the Irish boy. I keep forgetting his name. But as far as Celtic podcasts go, I think that was the only ones I listened to.
Yeah, I used to listen to a few of them when I had the time to do it, John, but I can't even remember the names of them now. I think the Boys Bus, I used to like that. The Hamish, 67 Hail Hail, I used to like that. And Celtic Fans TV is, I can't remember the name of them, John, but that was the three that I used to watch. They were quite good, actually.
Well, there's some I can't stand. I stopped watching them for reasons that I'll keep to myself, but they're absolutely pathetic, and they do really, really well. They interview famous people and that. I won't mention their name, but absolute guff. And people are fond for that garbage, and they have been for years, and it's utter trash. A bit like us.
All right, John. Comments from what else we got comment-wise?
Paul McCune says, well done. Okay. No, it wasn't well done, Paul. Sorry, I can't give you that. It was very badly done.
Oh, Paul, he's just leaving his comment. Thanks for the comment, Paul. Keep them coming in, Paul. And by the way, I don't think Paul put his guess in for the Almaty game. So, Paul, you need to get your guesses in, pal, for the
Livy.
every game. Yeah, every game from now on to the end of the season that we play. And it's not just league fixtures, folks. It's cup games and European games. Yeah.
You're losing 3 points every time you miss your turn. Next up was Stuart Robertson on the hoops on Saturday. So Stuart's already looking forward to Saturday. He's already forgot about it.
Yeah, like we're trying to do just now, but it's no easy when there's so many angry people with the situation just now, the board and the manager, etc., John. So we've got to talk about it, I suppose. But no, we're looking ahead to it as well, John. We've done a preview against Livingston just there. And I'm looking forward to the game, actually. It'd be good to see how we react against the performance on Wednesday night.
Aye, I'm looking forward to seeing the changes in the team. Anyway, thanks for that, Stuart. Next up was Aidan Whitty. That's Whitty with a H. Whitty. He just says the manager deserves far better. Well, we get a lot of money to spend last season, and there you go.
He's got the same name as my personality, isn't he? Whitty.
Whitty, I don't know, they're throwing calling the Cobs at the Seagulls.
Aye, back the manager. You go to, he's here. There's no point in no backing the manager when he's in the position. You know, he's Celtic manager. You've got to back him. You know, whoever's the manager, you've got to back him. It's as simple as that.
You've got to back him. Aye, you've always got to back the manager. And by the way, I don't promote throwing stuff out your car window to Seagulls at McDonald's. Always put your stuff in the bin, everybody. If you're throwing your chips or whatever out to Seagulls, it just promotes rats. We don't want that. Keep the car parts clean, use the bins, all that good stuff. That was when we were a lot younger. I did that, by the way.
Yeah, well, you're allowed to feed the birds, John. It's not against the law. So, you're okay.
But it's,
all right, John, that'll wrap up, I think, because I'm just checking my battery. No, I've still got 20%. We're okay just now. But that's an hour and a half. And if you want to sum it up, John, the commenters, and a wee final sum up for yourself, buddy.
Aye, well, it's not what I was expecting, obviously, last night. I thought it was a brutal performance by Celtic. That was one of the worst I've seen. Very negative. They were scared of Almaty, I think. I think Almaty came at them, and it was a case of they can hurt us, and I think that spooked Celtic a wee bit. Instead of showing them how we can play, we sat back worrying about, no sat back, but kind of played the game in fear of what Almaty could do to us. I think that's what happened last night. And on Saturday against Livingston, I think you'll see a different Celtic showing up. Hopefully we'll see a different Celtic. And next week against Almaty, it's got to change, Xander. Something's got to change. This passive playing left, right and backwards isn't going to work in Europe. It's got to be a lot quicker. It's got to be a lot more direct. And you've got to go into these games showing absolutely no fear. And if we do that, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay anyway, John. I think it's a wee lesson learned there for the players and the manager, John. So, lesson learned. We move on to Livingston. We get the 3 points. Hopefully, go 7 points clear in the league, and then we book our place in the Champions League proper. All right, John. That's it. Thanks very much for reading the comments. By the way, I know it's not easy when you've got names there you've never heard of before. Thank you, everybody, for your comments. Thank you to the regular commenters. Your Roseanne's, your two Pauls, your James, we would never sell a club, one club since 1888. You all know who you are, all the Peter Hendrys, your Collins, etc., etc. And Martin Nichol. John, didn't hear from Martin Nichol this week either, but he is over on Facebook leaving comments, so hello to Martin and everybody else that I've missed it. So thank you for all the commenters, thank you for everybody that's not a regular for leaving your comments. I appreciate that. Get your comments in, folks. We'll always try and read them out. Get your comments in for the competition. And we'll catch everybody on the post-match for Livingston. We'll do a post-match stroke preview of Almaty probably on Monday, John. So we'll see you Monday, buddy.
See you Monday, Xander. Hail, hail, mate.
Hail, hail, John. Catch you all later.
Subscribe to the Celtic Forever podcast on YouTube. Thank you.
The Celtic Forever podcast.